This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode number 168 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, and a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by Equestrian Collections for the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. Glenn Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, horse capital of the world, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we have back with us from the Dressage Radio Show, Heather Blitz. Heather's always popular on Horse Tip Daily and provides some fantastic tips to dressage riders and everybody else, really, because dressage is the basis of most riding. Even the Western riders take dressage lessons. So we are bringing you this tip from episode number 43 of the Dressage Radio Show that Heather does with Chris Stafford. And if you'd like to listen to the whole show, go to dressageradio.com. And speaking of dressage and all the other disciplines, you can find anything that you need for your horse riding pleasure over at equestriancollections.com. And with spring here, it's time to take a look at your grooming tools. And Equestrian Collections has a complete selection of grooming tools, whether that's clippers or shedders or brushes, whatever you need, you can find at equestriancollections.com for getting your horse cleaned up after the long winter. And they do have a complete selection of clippers over there you want to take a look at, as well as shampoos and all that kind of stuff. And you can get $10 off your next order of $120 or more by using the coupon code HORSERADIO, all one word, Horse Radio at checkout, and you'll get that $10 off that next order of spring supplies at equestriancollections.com. Now here's Heather Blitz and Chris Stafford from the Dressage Radio Show.
Very nicely into a tip of the week, Heather, and not just riding in circles, but riding in squares.
Yeah, well, I think we can all get a little maybe too used to riding in curved lines and circles, and we do focus a lot, of course, on bending and lateral suppleness. But I think there's a huge difference when you practice or you make a change from riding on let's say, a 20-meter circle to riding on a 20-meter square. It adds a lot more kind of question to the mix as far as your horse's ability to accept both, the aids on both sides of their body. And when you're going on a circle and you have some inside bend and you have the horse in the outside rein and you can keep them sort of steady on the circle, that's definitely something to accomplish. And it's not something that you don't want to do by any means. But when you go from that exercise to putting your horse on a square, which is, of course, a straight line, and a straight line should feel like you could either turn right or left. And when I start this with students, sometimes, it takes them a while to get to the point where they can really, from one stride to the next, either make a right turn or a left turn. So that means they're not tending either direction at all. I mean, that's the definition of straight. To being able to make from that straight line like a 90-degree turn, because the square has 90-degree turns, and then immediately onto another straight line. It really adds a lot more difficulty and precision and challenge to, what seems like a simple geometric figure. It adds a lot more learning opportunity for both horse and rider to see, if the horse is really listening and waiting for instructions, or if they just kind of make turns because they predict the turn. So there are lots of reasons and lots of things that can come out from changing your exercise from from a circle to a square. And each situation might be different depending on where that horse and rider combination is starting from. But I just suggest giving it a try and see what happens. And if you get to the point where you can very competently do a 20-meter circle or a 20-meter square, then I think that says a lot for the place that you are in your training. And that's quite an accomplishment. It sounds simple, but it's really not.
Where would you recommend starting those squares, Heather?
It's usually with the students that I start it with in walk, to be able to walk a straight line, like maybe say it on the quarter line, and to be able to make a transition to halt